In this episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast, we talk about controlling your energy levels when you're shooting your audition video and whether or not you should edit your audition video or just shoot it in one take. All in this episode of the podcast. Welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast with Dan Giesling, where I answer your reality TV casting questions once a week. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another episode. This is episode 31 of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. And before we jump into today's question, I just want to remind you guys that there is a video solution to your casting troubles. I created a video course that takes you from A to Z that answers all of your questions, from everything from how do you create your story to how do you shoot your audition video to what do you have in the background and everything in between. You can check that out by going to castingbootcamp.com. A lot of people have gone through it, and I love when I get emails saying, hey Dan, this actually helped me, because then that validates of what we're trying to do here, which is help more normal people get on reality TV. So you can check that out at castingbootcamp.com. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's question from Jesse, which is all about two things, and one I had to laugh about when I first heard the voicemail. One is about controlling your energy levels, and the other is about how should you approach your audition video in a one-shot take or in a perfect edited situation. Let's go ahead and listen to Jesse's question in depth.
Hey Dan, it's Jesse here. Big fan of the podcast. Everything you do on the website really gives a normal guy like me hope to finally get cast on reality TV. My question today is how I should actually put together my audition video. As you and other people on the podcast have suggested, I used an outside source to get my energy levels up before filming my audition video. For me, that was 2 shots and a Red Bull. As you can imagine, it definitely did get my energy levels up. The downside to it was I started to fumble over my words a little bit. And so when I went back to start to edit together my video, I was having trouble finding full clips of me without making any mistakes or stumbling over my words. So I was wondering if it would be best for me to get one full clip of me that has some mistakes in it, or to only edit together the best clips of me being perfect. I was wondering if casting producers would think that I was trying to be too perfect, and that could actually hurt my chances.
Website and everything. I appreciate that, and it's cool to hear when you say, hey, look, this is giving you hope for a normal guy to get cast on reality TV. And while hope is awesome, and that's awesome to hear you say, I hope it sparks action as opposed to just motivation, or as opposed to just, oh, that makes me feel like I can do it too, which is, I'm glad it does. And I know that Jesse's going to take action on this answer, but it's more about, okay, so now you feel like you're ready to go. Now you feel like you got a shot to get on. Now go do it and make the changes. So the first thing Jesse asked about is, he said, okay, look, when I had to shoot my audition video, or when Jesse was shooting his audition video, I think he said a Red Bull and 2 shots. Now, I'm not sure if he's talking 2 shots of Red Bull or 2 shots of an adult beverage, but, it makes me laugh because one of the most referred to things, or things that people remember about the story that I wrote, which, Jesse, you're going to get a free copy of, is when I went to my semifinal auditions in person. I would go to this McDonald's and chug a Red Bull and, Red Bull, Coke, because I can't handle caffeine, and Almond Joy. So it was like the Red Bull and Almond Joy mix, like it just pushed me over the edge. And that's funny that it just resonates with a lot of people, because I'm just in, like, honestly, like I'm like here, I'm like Steady Eddie, and it sounds like Jesse's is similar to it. And this isn't about me, but for someone who's more reserved, or maybe more just kind of here, and for those of you guys listening to the podcast here, I'm just putting my hands like even with the horizon. You got to do something to amp up your energy, and it's not always easy to do that. And good, bad, or indifferent, sometimes you have to rely on artificial substances. Now, I'm not endorsing Red Bull or anything like that, but it helps. If you're someone that doesn't drink a lot of caffeine, or someone that doesn't drink energy drinks on a regular basis, or doesn't eat a lot of candy or a lot of sugar, if you do that, if you're one of those types of people, you're probably going to act a little crazy, and that's what I did. It just gave me, some added energy. So do I recommend it? If you're someone who's more reserved, do something to get your energy levels up. A couple things that aren't maybe reliant on, consuming things. One of the things that also helped out is if you work out before an audition video, before you shoot it, your energy's pumping, your blood's pumping, you're gonna be ready to go. The other thing is listening to, like, when you work out, or you may have like a pump up song, and like, it sounds crazy, but especially if you're shooting your audition video by yourself and in a room where you're like, you're not really that conscious of other people and worried about other people watching it. Like, listen to your favorite song, then shoot a take, and like, just get whatever you have to do to get yourself amped up when you shoot this video, do it. So, which leads into Jesse's question, which is like, okay, so he shot his video and he was so amped up on sugar or adult beverages or Red Bull or whatever it was. He said that some of his clips were incoherent because he was mumbling or rambling or what have you. So it really comes down to a question of, should you shoot your audition video in one take, or should you have a perfect edited version of yourself? And there's benefits to both. So if you were to do it all in one take, which is very difficult and may take some practice, it looks more authentic and more real, meaning that they turn on the camera, so they, meaning the casting producers, if they turn you on camera, they're going to expect that type of, a just natural presence. So that could really help you. However, it's very, very difficult to do, to nail your audition video in one take. And then if you're trying to nail it in one take, and if you're on the 10th time of trying to make it look good, it's going to seem really artificial. Like you have, sometimes I'll see a video, someone will like, hey, Dan, look at this, I want to go through the service. And it's like they're mouthing the next lines before they come out. It's just kind of an odd thing that happens. But, so versus the edited side, so say, Jesse's saying, well, look, I was able to salvage some of these clips and edit it together so it looks perfect. Which do I use? And while there is no necessarily correct answer, my answer that I would recommend you do, especially Jesse, for your individual situation, is make it a blend of both, because there's nothing better than when you're watching an audition video and you see someone like unexpectedly laugh or mess something up and like make an offhand comment or something that wasn't planned, that shows the personality come through, that shows a different dynamic that isn't like, like we talked about in the last podcast about being too perfect. It's not about that. It's about being able to show your personality. And sometimes when unexpected things happen, so say, you're shooting your audition video and like your cat comes flying through and rips something off the shelf, your natural reaction to that, whatever it is, whether you wouldn't swear at your cat, but whatever you would say is probably going to be a lot more engaging and a lot more showing of your personality than something you were to write out. Now, I'm not saying that like to set up your audition video and so things crazy happen behind you, but sometimes that's all a casting associate will need to see. It's just one of those little flashes in the pan, one of those like glimpses, like this guy or this girl's got what it takes, or it's enough to get them interested. So, Jesse, I know I haven't given you a straightforward answer because there's benefits to both, but for you, I'd recommend doing both, because it sounds like, I think there's a place in most audition videos for like bloopers. Now, you don't necessarily want to put it at the end either, because they may not get to that point. But if you put like a part of you telling your story and you keep messing it up and it turns into a funny clip or frustrated, it's pretty entertaining to watch people mess up, and it's entertaining and engaging because it shows that people like are human. For example, I wanted to do it particularly for this episode. Normally I'll shoot like 3 or 4 intros until you get it right, and then it's just like, no, I'm just gonna go for it straight through, because things are gonna happen. But it shows when you're developing your character, when you're presenting yourself to these casting producers, it shows that you're not this like white knight with no breaks in the armor, because at some point they're going to dig out a break in the armor, and sometimes you want to make it a little easier for them, but that's a whole nother topic. So Jesse, thank you for asking your questions. Here's what you need to do. Maybe instead of taking a Red Bull and 2 shots of an adult beverage, maybe just take a Red Bull and see what happens. But the good thing is you can keep at it and keep adjusting and tweaking your audition video, but more importantly, get it out there, get it to as many people as possible. Try a bunch of different shows and get some exposure, get some feedback, because you may try out for a reality TV show that isn't necessarily on a huge network, but you may get some better feedback from a casting producer in that way. So Jesse, I'd love to hear after what you decide in your video. I'd love to hear how it goes, so keep us posted on that. And as a small thank you for Jesse, you putting yourself out there and asking your question on the podcast by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask, we're going to send you a free digital copy of my story, How a Normal Guy Got Cast on Reality TV. And in there, if you haven't already read about it, we talk about my energy supplement, which is Almond Joy and Red Bull. But yeah, Jesse, good luck, man. Thanks for the question. And if you have a question for the podcast, you can go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask. There's a voicemail app, so you hit a button. You can record it from your phone, from your tablet, from your browser, from your website, wherever, and ask your question, because you guys drive the show. People like Jesse drive this show. I am merely a passenger in this ship, doing my best to help get as many normal people ashore as possible. So with that being said, Jesse, thanks for the question, man. So that wraps up episode 31 of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. I was going to say special thank you. I already spent like 30 seconds thanking Jesse, but I just want to remind you guys that if you're interested in taking a 4-part video course taking you from A to Z, from developing your casting story to getting ready for interviews and everything in between, you can check it out by going to castingbootcamp.com. It contains 4 video parts to the course with worksheets. I'm taking you by the hand and showing you to go from A to Z and get yourself prepared in the best possible position for success to get cast on reality TV. You can check that out by going to castingbootcamp.com. And if you enjoyed this podcast in any way, shape, or form, I appreciate if you guys go to iTunes. You can go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/iTunes and leave a review. I read them. I appreciate them. I look at your feedback, and I love it. And I drink it up. I don't drink it. But thank you guys for listening or watching on YouTube or however you engage with the show. Thank you. I will be back next Monday with another question from you guys. Have a great one and good luck on your casting journey. See you guys.